a gentle welcome to sleepy science, where the world grows quieter and curiosity becomes a soft place to rest. Tonight's descent moves into the deep ocean, a realm that covers about 71% of Earth's surface and stretches down into trenches that can approach 11 kilometers in depth. Down there, pressure rises to levels that would crush most familiar objects, and sunlight becomes a memory. And still, life persists. It glows, it drifts, it waits, and it adapts in ways that feel almost dreamlike. If you enjoy these gentle science journeys, I invite you to like and subscribe, or share a favorite fact in the comments. It helps others find their way here too, one sleepy soul at a time. For now, there's nothing you need to do but rest. Settle in, breathe deeply, and let's begin. Fact 1. The deep sea is the largest living space on Earth, not because it has the most creatures per square meter, but because it has so much volume. It is not a single floor. It is a layered world where animals live suspended in open water, sometimes thousands of meters above the seafloor, like stars floating in a black sky. Deep-sea creatures belong to an environment that is more like space than land, where direction matters, where up and down are entire ecosystems, and where survival often depends on reading faint signals in darkness. Fact 2. As the ocean deepens, sunlight fades in stages, and those stages shape life. In the upper ocean, light is bright and photosynthesis is possible. Then comes the twilight zone, where light is dim but still present, like eternal dusk. Below that, darkness becomes complete, and any light that appears comes from life itself. Deep-sea creatures often evolve eyes that are either extremely sensitive or reduced and simplified, because sight is only useful when there is something to see. In the deepest dark, other senses become the true map. Fact 3. Pressure increases quickly under the sea, roughly 1 atmosphere for every 10 meters of depth. For deep-sea creatures, pressure is not an occasional stress. It is the constant shape of reality, pressing inward from every direction. Many have bodies with fewer air-filled spaces, so there is less to compress. Their proteins and membranes are adapted to work under pressure without losing function, like machinery designed to run smoothly under a heavy blanket. It is not toughness in the dramatic sense. It is quiet compatibility with crushing force. Fact 4. The deep ocean is cold, often around 2 to 4 degrees Celsius across large regions, and cold changes everything. Chemical reactions slow, movement becomes expensive, and food energy is precious. Many deep-sea creatures live in a slower rhythm, growing gradually, conserving energy, and avoiding wasteful motion. In this world, patience is not a personality trait. It is biology. A creature that can wait calmly and strike efficiently when the moment arrives may outlast one that burns energy too quickly, no matter how strong it seems. Fact 5. Many deep-sea animals depend on marine snow, a constant fall of tiny organic particles drifting down from the surface. It is made of dead plankton, fecal pellets, mucus, shed skins, and fragments of life that once lived in sunlight. It sinks slowly through darkness like a gentle, endless snowfall. To a deep-sea creature, marine snow is not just food, but a message from above, a thin reminder that the surface world is alive and busy. Down here, a single particle can be worth noticing, and a small pulse of marine snow can feel like weather. Fact 6. Because food can be scarce and unpredictable, many deep-sea creatures are built to seize opportunities. Some have expandable stomachs, flexible jaws, or bodies that can stretch around an unexpectedly large meal. A fish might go days without eating, then suddenly encounter prey and need to take it quickly before it escapes or before another predator arrives. In the deep, readiness matters more than routine. A wide mouth is not excess. It is a survival plan for a world where the next meal may not be scheduled. Fact 7. Bioluminescence is one of the deep ocean's most common miracles. Many animals produce light using chemical reactions, often involving a molecule like luciferin and an enzyme like luciferase, though the exact chemistry varies. This light can attract prey, signal mates, confuse predators, or serve as camouflage. In darkness, light becomes a tool that can be aimed with precision. A creature might glow softly like fog, blink like a tiny star, or flash suddenly like a warning. Deep sea life turns darkness into a canvas and light into a language. Fact 8. Most deep sea bioluminescence is blue or blue-green because those wavelengths travel farthest in seawater. Red light disappears quickly as depth increases, absorbed by the ocean like ink. Many deep sea eyes are tuned to blue, sensitive to the faintest shimmer. This creates a shared visual world, a black ocean punctuated by blue sparks. It is as if the deep sea has its own night sky inside it, and the creatures are both the stars and the watchers, communicating in a color chosen by physics. Fact 9. Some deep-sea creatures use counter-illumination, producing light on their undersides to match the dim glow from above. To a predator looking up, prey can appear as a silhouette. But if the prey's belly glows at the right brightness, the silhouette fades. It is camouflage by imitation, a careful balancing act where the animal becomes the background. This strategy is common enough that many animals have specialized light organs arranged like a gentle, living underside sky, brightening and dimming as depth and moonlight change. Fact 10. The twilight zone is famous for daily vertical migration, a massive movement of animals rising toward the surface at night and sinking deeper by day. Lanternfish, squid, crustaceans, and many others participate. It is often described as the largest migration on Earth by biomass, happening every night without fanfare. In darkness, these creatures feed closer to the surface where food is richer, then retreat to deeper water, where predators may have a harder time seeing them. The ocean breathes with this motion, like a slow tide made of living bodies. A calm pause settles in, like the last dim line of daylight dissolving above, and the descent continues. Fact 11. Lanternfish are small, but their numbers can be immense, and in some estimates they may be among the most abundant vertebrates on Earth. Many carry photophores, tiny light organs arranged in species-specific patterns. These patterns can function like identification signals, helping individuals recognize their own kind in the dark. They can also help with counter-illumination, blending the fish into the faint background glow. Seen from a distance, a school of lanternfish can resemble drifting starlight, a moving constellation that belongs to the water. Fact 12. Sonar often detects the deep scattering layer, a thick band of life in the mid-water that reflects sound. To early sonar operators, it sometimes looked like a phantom seafloor rising and falling. The truth was more beautiful. It was animals, countless bodies moving upward at night and downward by day. The layer is not a solid thing, but a living fog. It reminds the mind that deep sea life is not only isolated monsters. Much of it is small, abundant, and rhythmic, moving like a slow pulse through a dark column. Fact 13. Hatchetfish have laterally compressed bodies that reduce their visible profile. Many also use counter-illumination, adjusting their belly glow to match the environment. Their shape can be so thin that from above they can nearly vanish, like a silver blade turned edge on. In a world where predators may search for outlines, being flat and narrow is a kind of invisibility. The hatchetfish is a lesson in quiet design, shaped not by display, but by the need to remain unnoticed, drifting in the dim between surface and abyss. Fact 14. Many deep-sea animals appear black or deep red because red light is quickly absorbed in water and does not reach the depths. A red creature can look black in blue-dark surroundings, becoming harder to see. Some predators even produce red light and have eyes that can detect it, effectively creating a private flashlight. For everyone else, the red remains invisible. This is one of the deep sea's gentle tricks. Colors still exist, but they do not behave the way surface life expects. The ocean edits the palette, and evolution paints accordingly. Fact 15. Dragonfish are famous for their dramatic teeth and, in some species, their ability to use rare red bioluminescence. If a dragonfish can shine red light and also see it, it may illuminate prey that cannot detect the red glow. The prey is revealed, while the hunter remains hidden. It is like whispering in a room where most ears cannot hear that frequency. Dragonfish often combine multiple deep-sea strategies at once: stealth, surprise, and light, as both tool and weapon, all arranged within a body built for darkness. Fact 16. The barrel-eye fish has a transparent, dome-like head that looks like glass. Inside that clear dome, its eyes can rotate, often pointing upward to spot silhouettes drifting above. The fish can search for faint shapes against faint light, a visual task as delicate as reading dust in a beam. The transparency is not for beauty. It is for function, allowing the eyes to move and to gather light without obstruction. In the deep, where every photon matters, even the shape of the head can become an optical device. Fact 17. Many deep-sea fish have oversized mouths and long needle-like teeth because they cannot afford to lose prey. In a food-poor habitat, missing a meal is not a small setback. It can be the difference between survival and starvation. These teeth are often angled inward, designed to keep prey from slipping out once caught. The mouth becomes a trap that rarely releases what it takes. From the surface, such teeth look frightening. In the deep, they look practical, like hooks designed for a single, rare chance. Fact 18. The gulper eel, also called the pelican eel, has a mouth that can open extremely wide, with a throat pouch that can expand. It may scoop prey or swallow surprisingly large meals, turning one encounter into a stored reserve. Its body can look thin and fragile, but the mouth is a dramatic tool, like a net that suddenly opens in darkness. The gulper eel reminds the listener that in the deep sea, the most important organ is often the one that allows an animal to capitalize on unpredictability. Fact 19. Some deep-sea animals are gelatinous, soft, and lightly built because water supports them, and because building heavy tissue costs energy. Gelatinous bodies can also help with buoyancy, allowing animals to hover. These creatures can look delicate, like drifting sculptures, yet they are well suited to their environment. In the deep, strength often means efficiency, not armor. A soft body can slip through currents with minimal cost, and in dim light, a transparent, jelly-like form can be nearly invisible, like a ghost moving through black water. Fact 20. Deep-sea animals often live with low metabolic rates, conserving energy as if every calorie matters, because it does. Some fish move slowly or remain almost still for long stretches, waiting for prey or scavenging opportunities. This is not laziness. It is the mathematics of survival in a sparse world. When the ocean offers few meals, the body must spend carefully. The deep sea becomes a place where stillness is powerful, and where the most successful creatures may be the ones that waste the least. A soft transition, like drifting past a quiet ridge, and the story continues deeper into the creatures that use light to hunt. Fact 21. Anglerfish are known for their lure, a glowing extension that hangs in front of the mouth like a tiny lantern. In total darkness, a small, moving light can draw curiosity. And curiosity can be dangerous. The anglerfish often waits motionless, conserving energy, and lets the lure do the work. When prey approaches, the strike can be quick and final. In some ways, the anglerfish turns the deep sea's emptiness into a trap, using the rare presence of light as bait, a flicker that says, there is something worth coming closer to. Fact 22. In some anglerfish species, males are tiny compared to females, and mating can involve a remarkable strategy. A male may attach to a female and fuse with her tissues, becoming a permanent partner. In the deep ocean, where individuals can be widely scattered, this ensures reproduction when the time comes. It can sound strange, but it reflects a simple truth. Finding a mate may be rarer than finding food. Evolution sometimes responds by turning one meeting into a lifelong connection, so a single encounter becomes enough. Fact 23. Some deep-sea animals produce light using symbiotic bacteria housed in specialized organs. The animal provides a safe home and nutrients. The bacteria provide steady glow. This partnership shows how deep-sea survival can be built from cooperation as well as competition. A living lantern can be made from microbes, turning a biological relationship into a functional tool. In the deep ocean, where energy must be used carefully, outsourcing light production to bacteria can be efficient, stable, and reliable, like carrying a small, self-maintaining lamp. Fact 24. Bioluminescence is not always steady. Many animals can control their light precisely, blinking, pulsing, and dimming. Some use light to communicate, sending patterns that may help identify species or attract mates. Others use sudden flashes to startle predators. In darkness, timing matters. A blink can be a signal, a warning, or a decoy. The deep sea becomes a place where communication can happen without sound, written in brief glimmers that vanish almost as soon as they appear, leaving only the memory of light. Fact 25. The vampire, squid, lives in low oxygen mid-water zones and has adaptations for conserving energy and extracting oxygen efficiently. When threatened, it can invert its cloak-like webbing, showing spines and presenting a larger, more confusing shape. Instead of releasing ink, it can release a cloud of glowing mucus, distracting predators with living light. In the deep sea, darkness is normal, so brightness becomes the true distraction. The predator follows the glow, and the vampire squid slips away into the black, calm, and efficient. Fact 26. Many deep-sea squid have large eyes, and some have eyes that differ in size or orientation, tuned to different visual tasks. One eye may look upward for silhouettes against faint residual light. The other may look downward for bioluminescent flashes. This reflects the deep ocean's two skies. Above, a thin veil of leftover light. Below, a scattered field of living sparks. The squid's gaze becomes split, reading two different kinds of darkness at once, like a creature built to interpret a world where light is rare, but meaningful. Fact 27. Some deep-sea fish and squid use bioluminescent decoys, releasing glowing particles or fluids that distract predators. The decoy can cling to an attacker, briefly outlining it like a moving constellation. In the deep, being seen can be dangerous, so forcing a predator into visibility can be a defense. A creature may not outrun its hunter, but it can confuse it, delay it, or make it hesitate. In a sparse world, even a few seconds of uncertainty can be enough to survive. Fact 28. Not all deep-sea hunting is active pursuit. Many predators use sit-and-wait strategies, conserving energy until prey comes near. The deep sea rewards patience because chasing burns fuel. A slow ambush can be more effective than a fast chase. Some predators rely on sensitive vibration sensing, detecting the faint movement of another animal nearby. They strike only when the odds are high. This makes deep-sea predation feel like a quiet game, where the most successful move is often doing nothing at all until the perfect moment arrives. Fact 29. Fang-toothed fish are known for teeth that look too large for their mouths, yet their skull structure accommodates them. These teeth help secure prey in a world where losing food is costly. Fang-toothed fish also show the deep sea's theme of extremes. Certain traits become exaggerated because the environment demands efficiency. When prey is scarce, grabbing and holding matters more than beauty. The fangtooth is a reminder that deep-sea fearsome features are often solutions to scarcity, not signs of endless aggression. Fact 30. Sound travels far in water, and deep-diving predators like sperm whales use echolocation to hunt squid. They produce powerful clicks and listen for echoes, building a sound-based image of the dark. While many deep-sea fish do not echolocate, the ocean's soundscape still matters. Vibrations, distant clicks, and the movement of currents all create information. In deep water, life often becomes a listener. The ocean is full of signals that cannot be seen, only sensed. A slower pause, like drifting through a wide midwater silence, and the journey turns toward the creatures of the seafloor. Fact 31. Giant isopods are crustaceans related to small landpill bugs, but in deep water, some species grow much larger. They walk slowly over the seafloor, scavenging, sometimes enduring long periods between meals. Their armored bodies look like ancient design, as if the deep preserved a blueprint and scaled it up. Giant isopods are often calm and methodical, the kind of creatures that do not need speed because their world is built on endurance and the slow arrival of food from above. Fact 32. Deep-sea gigantism appears in some groups, where deep-water animals become larger than their shallow relatives. It does not happen everywhere, but it shows up in certain crustaceans and other invertebrates. Possible explanations include cold temperatures, different predation, pressures, and the advantage of larger bodies for storing energy. In a world where meals arrive unpredictably, being larger can mean surviving longer on a single feast. The deep sea sometimes turns size into a buffer against uncertainty, a quiet storage of time and fuel. Fact 33. Sea cucumbers are abundant on many deep sea floors and play a key role in recycling nutrients. They ingest sediment, digest the organic matter within, and leave behind processed sand. Their work is slow but constant, like a moving compost system. In the deep, where marine snow is the main food source, the seafloor becomes a place of careful processing. Sea cucumbers help keep the system moving, turning falling debris into usable nutrients, sustaining a web of life that depends on tiny, steady acts of consumption. Fact 34. Some sea cucumbers defend themselves with surprising tactics, including ejecting sticky threads or expelling internal organs, which can later regenerate. Regeneration is common in ocean life, and it reflects a world where injury can be survived if the body can rebuild. In deep water, where growth can be slow, regeneration is especially valuable. The sea cucumber's defenses look strange, but they are effective. In darkness, even a simple creature can carry a dramatic escape plan, sacrificing a piece of itself to preserve the whole. Fact 35. Deep sea corals grow without sunlight, capturing food from passing currents rather than relying on symbiotic algae, the way many shallow corals do. They can form coral gardens on slopes, ridges, and seamounts, creating complex habitats where fish and invertebrates can shelter. These corals often grow slowly, sometimes over decades or centuries. A deep coral garden is a city built in near darkness, shaped by faint currents and patience, where the architecture is living and the timeline is long. Fact 36. Sponges are also important habitat builders in the deep sea. Some sponges grow large and long-lived, forming sponge grounds that provide shelter and feeding surfaces for many animals. Sponges filter water continuously, capturing tiny particles and microbes. In the deep ocean, where food is small and sparse, filtration is a steady strategy. Sponges can be thought of as quiet engines, pulling water through their bodies and turning the ocean's thin soup into sustenance, day after day, year after year. Fact 37. The seafloor is not uniform. It includes plains, canyons, ridges, and mountains. These shapes influence currents and how food accumulates. A canyon can funnel organic matter, creating richer feeding grounds. A ridge can alter flow, delivering nutrients to filter feeders. A flat plain can be sparse, with creatures spread out in wide distances. Deep sea animals are often tied to these landscapes, even if they never see them. The terrain shapes their opportunities, like invisible architecture beneath the dark. Fact 38. Whale falls happen when a whale dies and sinks, becoming a sudden feast in a food-poor environment. The carcass can support a sequence of communities over years, beginning with large scavengers and ending with specialized organisms that consume bone fats with bacterial help. A whale fall is like an oasis, a rare banquet that draws life from far away. In the deep, one event can reshape a neighborhood for a long time, feeding creatures that may have waited in hunger for weeks. Fact 39. Hagfish are famous for producing slime, thick mucus that can clog a predator's gills. This defense is especially useful in deep water where speed is limited. Hagfish also feed as scavengers, often entering carcasses and consuming from within. Their role is less glamorous than a predator's, but essential. The deep sea is a place where cleanup matters, where decay becomes energy, and hagfish help move that energy through the ecosystem. They are part of the ocean's recycling, turning endings into food. Fact 40. Some deep-sea sharks, like sleeper sharks, move slowly and can scavenge as well as hunt. Cold water and scarce food favor endurance. A slow predator burns less energy and can survive long periods without eating. This is one reason deep-sea animals often appear calm, even when they are dangerous. The deep sea does not always reward speed. It rewards creatures that can wait sense and take the right opportunity when it finally arrives. A gentle transition, like passing over a dark plain where only a few lights blink far away, and the story turns toward the drifting, delicate life of mid-water. Fact 41. Siphonophores are colonies of many specialized individuals that function as one organism. Some are long, trailing through water like living ribbons, with parts devoted to feeding, movement, defense, and reproduction. In the deep sea, the idea of one animal can become complicated. A siphonophore is a community that moves as a single body. Some glow with soft patterns, creating the impression of a floating constellation. They're proof that deep life can be cooperative at the most fundamental level, built from many lives acting as one. Fact 42. Some siphonophores use bioluminescence to confuse predators, producing glowing displays that break up their outline. Others may lure prey toward their tentacles. The deep sea is full of animals that look like drifting lace, delicate but dangerous. A siphonophore can appear peaceful and weightless, yet its tentacles can carry stinging cells. In the dark, beauty and threat can be woven together. The creature drifts, and the ocean decides what comes close enough to touch. Fact 43. Jellyfish and other gelatinous animals thrive in deep water because their bodies are buoyant and relatively cheap to build in terms of energy. Many are so delicate that nets destroy them, which is why humans discovered many species only after submersibles began filming gently. The deep sea contains life that is abundant but nearly impossible to hold. It must be seen where it lives, drifting in its own pressure and darkness, like a thought that disappears if grabbed too hard. Fact 44. Comb jellies, also called ctenophores, move with rows of tiny cilia that can refract light into shimmering colors when illuminated. Many also produce bioluminescence, creating soft blue glows. They can look like living glass sculptures, transparent and graceful. In the deep ocean, where hard edges are rare, a comb jelly can feel like a piece of moonlight shaped into life. Their movement is gentle, almost floating, a reminder that the deep sea contains not only hunters, but also slow, drifting wonders. Fact 45. Giant larvaceans build large mucus houses that filter food from the water. The house acts like a net, capturing tiny particles in marine snow. When it becomes clogged, the larvacean abandons it and builds another. These discarded houses can sink and become food for other organisms. In this way, a single creature's feeding structure becomes part of the deep ocean's nutrient cycle. The deep sea is a place where even mucus can be architecture, and even abandoned homes can become meals. Fact 46. Many midwater animals use transparency as camouflage, becoming nearly invisible except for eyes and a few organs. Some even position their bodies to minimize shadow. In dim water, the outline of a creature can be its greatest risk. Transparency removes that outline, like turning a body into a faint suggestion. Yet eyes are hard to hide because they must collect light. Some animals reduce eye shine or shape their eyes in ways that minimize reflection. In the deep, being unseen can require constant evolutionary refinement. Fact 47. The oxygen minimum zone is a layer in some regions where oxygen is especially low. Some animals avoid it, but others specialize in living there, reducing competition and predation. The vampire squid is one example of a creature adapted to low oxygen. In these zones, metabolism and movement often become even more economical. Harshness can become safety. When fewer predators can tolerate the conditions, the animals that can breathe there inherit a quieter neighborhood where survival depends more on chemistry than speed. Fact 48. Hydrothermal vents are places where hot, mineral-rich water escapes from the seafloor. Around vents, life thrives without sunlight. Microbes use chemicals like hydrogen sulfide to produce energy through chemosynthesis, forming the base of the food web. Vent ecosystems feel like hidden cities fueled by the Earth's interior. The water can be extremely hot near the vent and near freezing just a short distance away, creating a sharp gradient where animals position themselves carefully, living on the boundary between fire and ice. Fact 49. Giant tube worms at vents can live without a mouth or digestive tract as adults because they host symbiotic bacteria inside their bodies. The bacteria use vent chemicals to produce nutrients, and the worm provides a stable home and access to those chemicals. It is a partnership so complete that the worm becomes a living container for microbial energy production. In the deep sea, survival often depends on alliances with microbes. The largest, most visible animals at vents often owe their success to invisible partners. Fact 50. Cold seeps are another chemosynthetic habitat where methane and other chemicals leak from the seafloor at lower temperatures than vents. These seeps support specialized communities of worms, clams, and bacteria. If vents are the deep sea's sudden chimneys, cold seeps are its quiet springs, steady and long-lasting. They can persist for long periods, feeding life slowly and continuously. In a dark world where food is often rare, a seep is a stable resource, a gentle promise of chemical energy. Fact 51. Around hydrothermal vents, some shrimp live in a world where the rules feel inverted. Their eyes may be reduced as image-making tools, yet they still sense their environment with precision. In some vent shrimp, structures on the head are thought to help detect heat, chemistry, or faint glow near vent plumes. Instead of scanning for shapes in sunlight, they navigate gradients, reading the ocean like a map made of temperature and minerals. A vent field can be harsh, with hot water surging into near-freezing sea, and the shrimp learn the safe distances by sensing, not by seeing. They gather where chemistry is richest, and danger is just far enough away. Fact 52. Vent mussels and clams often survive through a quiet partnership. Inside their tissues, symbiotic bacteria use chemicals from vent fluids, like sulfides or methane-related compounds, to produce energy and build organic matter. The shellfish provide a stable home, bring water across their gills, and deliver the right chemical ingredients to their microscopic tenants. In return, the bacteria feed the host. This means that a deep-sea meadow near vents can be fueled by invisible chemistry rather than by sunlight. It is a different kind of garden, one where the soil is mineral-rich water and the harvest is made by microbes. Fact 53. Some vent crabs, including the animals often nicknamed Yeti crabs, seem to cultivate bacteria on hair-like bristles. They position themselves in currents that carry vent chemicals, moving their arms in slow motions that may feed the bacteria by giving them access to the right mixture of seawater and vent fluid. Over time, the crab may graze on this microbial growth. It is an eerie kind of farming in the dark, where the crop is not a plant, but a living film. In a place where normal food chains are scarce, building a personal food source from bacteria can be a stable strategy, like carrying a pantry on the body. Fact 54. The scaly-foot snail is one of the deep sea's most startling examples of mineral and biology blending together. Found near certain vent regions, it is known for unusual protective structures on its foot, sometimes described as scales, and for a shell that can incorporate minerals from its environment. In vent habitats, minerals swirl in the water like invisible dust, and life sometimes learns to use that dust. The snail's armor is not a costume. It is a survival response to a world where chemistry is intense and predators still exist. It looks almost engineered, yet it is simply evolution responding to the deep. Fact 55. Hydrothermal vents do not last forever. They can form, shift, and shut down as Earth's crust changes. That means vent communities may be temporary on geological timescales, even if they persist for decades or longer. When a vent fades, the local ecosystem must either adapt, migrate, or disappear. Some species may have dispersing larvae that drift to find new vents. Others may endure changes for as long as possible. This creates a deep-sea story of colonization and loss, where life must be ready to rebuild its city when the power source moves. Even in darkness, the Earth keeps rearranging the map. Fact 56. Cold seeps offer a gentler version of vent chemistry, leaking methane or sulfide-rich fluids at lower temperatures. They can form long-lived ecosystems that feel steady, like quiet springs. Microbial mats may spread over the sediment, and animals gather where chemistry is usable. Some worms and clams at seeps depend on bacterial partners, much like vent animals do. The seep world can look calm compared to a vent's plume, but it holds the same deep idea. Life does not require sunlight if there is chemical energy to harvest. In the deep, a slow leak can be as meaningful as a blaze, feeding a community with patient consistency. Fact 57. Not all vent and seep life is big and dramatic. Much of it is microbial, and microbes shape everything. They form the base of chemosynthetic food webs. They detoxify harsh chemicals, and they can even influence what animals can live where. In many cases, the largest creatures are more like habitats for microbes than independent engines. This means the deep sea is full of hidden labor. The visible animals are the towers and bridges, but the microbes are the electricity, the plumbing, the unseen workers. In the dark ocean, life often depends on what is too small to notice, yet powerful enough to feed entire ecosystems. Fact 58. Seamounts, ridges, and underwater slopes can create deep-sea hot spots without vents or seeps. By shaping currents, these features can concentrate nutrients and marine snow, delivering more food than the surrounding plain. Filter feeders may anchor on rocky surfaces where flow is steady, and fish may gather around complex terrain for shelter. In a wide, sparse ocean, a seamount can function like an island, a place where life becomes denser simply because the water moves differently. The deep ocean is not only a uniform abyss, it is a landscape of invisible weather, where currents decide which places feel like deserts and which feel like oases. Fact 59. The abyssal plain is vast and often quiet, covered in fine sediment that drifts like dust over time. Life there is often spread out, and many animals are small, living within or on top of the mud. Worms, tiny crustaceans, and countless microbes build a hidden community beneath the surface. The plain can seem empty when viewed from a camera, but it is more like a night field where most movement happens under the grass. The deep sea often hides its abundance in miniature. A square meter of sediment can contain many lives, each one processing tiny particles of food and turning them into the next link in the chain. Fact 60. Marine snow does not fall evenly. Storms, plankton blooms, and seasonal changes at the surface can create pulses of food that arrive days or weeks later in the deep. This means the deep sea can have seasons, even without sunlight. Some animals may respond by feeding more actively when food pulses arrive, then slowing again during lean times. The deep ocean receives delayed signals from above, like letters that take weeks to reach their destination. Down here, a surface bloom becomes a quiet feast later on, and the timing of life is shaped by events it never witnesses directly. A calm pause settles in, like drifting over a dark plain where the only motion is the slow fall of particles. Fact 61. Whale falls are among the deep sea's most dramatic gifts. When a whale dies and sinks, the carcass becomes a concentrated source of energy in a place where food is normally scattered. Scavengers often arrive first, and the scene can become busy by deep sea standards, with animals feeding in slow, relentless cycles. Over time, different communities take over as the carcass changes. First come the large eaters, then smaller ones, then specialized organisms that can use the remaining fats and bones. A whale fall can support life for years, turning one death into a long-lived ecosystem, like an island of abundance appearing suddenly in darkness. Fact 62. Hagfish are frequent visitors to carcasses, and their defense is legendary. In a quiet way, they can produce vast amounts of slime, mucus that expands in water and can clog a predator's gills. In the deep sea, where speed is limited and escape routes are few, turning the water into a barrier can be life-saving. Hagfish also feed by entering carcasses and consuming from within, helping break down large sources of organic matter. They are part scavenger, part recycler, part stubborn survivor. Their existence reminds the mind that deep sea life is not only about hunting, it is also about processing, cleaning, and returning energy to the system. Fact 63. Sleeper sharks and other deepwater sharks often live with slow metabolisms and calm movement. Cold water supports a lifestyle where patience matters. A deepwater predator may not chase often. It may cruise, sense, and wait. In some cases, scavenging is part of the diet because in the deep, a carcass is too valuable to ignore. These sharks show a different image of predation, one that is less about speed and more about endurance. They are shadows with long timelines, built for a world where the next meal might be far away and where wasting energy can be more dangerous than any rival. Fact 64. Some deep-sea crabs and lobsters are adapted to soft sediment, with long legs or specialized behaviors for moving across mud without sinking. Their antennae and sensory structures can be tuned to detect chemical signals, helping them find food when vision is limited. On a dark seafloor, a crab's world is close range and tactile, built from textures and scents rather than bright shapes. It is a quiet kind of exploration, step by step, tasting the water, tasting the mud, reading the environment like a slow poem written in chemistry. In the deep, a successful forager is often the one that can interpret subtle clues without rushing. Fact 65. Deep-sea fish often avoid gas-filled swim bladders because gases compress under pressure. Instead, Many rely on oils, gelatinous tissue, or carefully balanced body density to maintain buoyancy. This allows them to hover without constant swimming. It is a gentle physics trick, using materials that behave predictably under pressure. In this way, the deep sea turns body composition into a navigation tool. To float is to solve an equation of density, and many deep creatures carry that solution within their tissues. Hovering becomes a quiet form of control, allowing an animal to wait mid-water like a suspended thought. Fact 66. Some midwater animals have waxy lipids that help them stay buoyant. Oil does not compress the way gas does, so it is useful in deep water. A fish or squid that can hover saves energy, and energy is the deep sea's main currency. Buoyancy becomes a kind of wealth, letting creatures drift with currents rather than fight them. In a world where food can be sparse, saving energy is equivalent to finding food. The deep sea rewards anything that reduces the cost of existence, and waxy lipids can be a quiet answer, like a built-in flotation device shaped by evolution. Fact 67. The Hadal zone, found in ocean trenches below about 6,000 meters, is one of Earth's most extreme habitats. Pressure there is immense, and yet life persists, often dominated by scavengers like amphipods. When researchers lower baited cameras, these amphipods can appear quickly, suggesting that even in the deepest places, food networks exist and movement happens. It is not a bustling city, but it is not emptiness either. The trench is a harsh neighborhood, but it still follows a basic rule. Where organic matter falls, life organizes around it, adapting its biochemistry to endure. Fact 68. Deep trench animals often have cellular adaptations that keep proteins functioning under pressure. Pressure can distort enzyme shapes and membrane structures, so deep species may evolve proteins that are more stable or membranes that remain flexible. Some organisms also carry molecules that help protect their cellular machinery, like internal buffers, against the crushing environment. The details can be complex, but the idea is simple. The deep sea does not only challenge the outside of the body, it challenges the chemistry inside every cell. To live in the trench is to make every microscopic process compatible with weight. Fact 69. The Dumbo octopus, with its ear-like fins, embodies a calmer side of deep life. It often moves by gentle fin flapping, hovering above the seafloor, rather than jetting rapidly like shallow water squids. This movement is efficient and quiet, suited to cold conditions and sparse food. Some Dumbo octopuses may also crawl briefly along the bottom. Their world is not filled with bright reefs and constant motion. It is spacious and dim. Their style of movement matches that world, slow and steady, like drifting through a dark room without wanting to disturb the air. Fact 70. Deep-sea octopuses often lay relatively few eggs and invest heavily in them. In cold water, development can be slow, and brooding may last for many months. Some mothers guard their eggs with patient dedication, barely feeding, keeping the eggs clean and protected. This is a deep-sea strategy shaped by scarcity and risk. Instead of scattering millions of eggs into chance, some species place their energy into fewer, safer beginnings. In a world where suitable habitat can be rare and distance is enormous, careful parenting can be more effective than abundance. Another soft transition drifts in, like passing beneath an unseen ridge where the current changes and the darkness feels even deeper. Fact 71. Many deep-sea creatures use transparency as camouflage, especially in mid-water, where there is no seafloor to hide against. A transparent body casts little shadow and provides few visual cues, which can be crucial in dim conditions. But transparency comes with challenges. Eyes, for example, are hard to hide because they must absorb light, and reflective surfaces can betray an animal's presence. Some deep species reduce eye shine or use pigments in ways that limit reflection. In the deep, invisibility is rarely perfect. It is a collection of small improvements, each one shaving away a little more outline until the animal becomes difficult to notice unless it moves. Fact 72. Comb jellies, also called siphonophores, can look like drifting glass sculptures. Rows of tiny cilia propel them, and when light hits those cilia, it can scatter into shimmering colors. Many also produce bioluminescence, often a soft blue glow that lingers briefly. Their bodies are gelatinous and delicate, which makes them hard to study with nets. In their natural habitat, they drift as if weightless, moving with the calm certainty of currents. In a dark ocean, a comb jelly's faint glow can feel like underwater starlight, not bright, just enough to suggest that life is present and quietly passing by. Fact 73. Some deep-sea animals are colonial in a way that reshapes the very idea of an individual. Siphonophores are made of many specialized units that function together as one drifting organism. One unit may handle feeding, another movement, another reproduction, another defense. The colony becomes a single body in practice, even though it is built from many lives. Some siphonophores can be long, trailing like living ribbons through the water column. In darkness, their bioluminescence can create lines of light that feel like moving constellations, and their tentacles can be both delicate and dangerous. Fact 74. Giant larvaceans build mucus houses that function as filter feeding nets. These structures can be surprisingly large compared to the animal itself, capturing marine snow and tiny plankton. When the house becomes clogged, the larvacean abandons it and builds a new one, and the old house sinks, delivering a packaged meal to deeper waters. This means larvaceans not only feed themselves, but also contribute to carbon transport in the ocean, moving organic material downward. In the deep sea, even the discarded architecture of a tiny creature can become part of the ecosystem's food pathways. Fact 75. Bioluminescence is often used not just to attract prey, but to hide from predators. Counter-illumination is one example, but there are others. Some creatures flash suddenly to startle, others produce glowing clouds to distract, and some emit light from specific organs that break up their outline. Light in the deep is not always an announcement. Sometimes it is misdirection, a way to control what an observer thinks they see. In darkness, the most powerful survival skill can be shaping attention, guiding a predator's gaze away from the real body. The deep sea becomes a place where perception itself is a battlefield, fought with faint glimmers. Fact 76. Deep-sea fish often rely on the lateral line system to sense water movement and vibration. This system can detect tiny disturbances like the wake of a passing animal or the flutter of a fin. In darkness, this is a kind of touch at a distance, allowing a fish to feel nearby life without seeing it. The ocean carries these disturbances quietly, and a sensitive animal can read them like footprints on a soft surface. For many deep-sea creatures, the world is built from pressure changes and flow patterns, an invisible geometry of motion that tells them when something is near. Fact 77. In the twilight zone, Many animals follow the daily rhythm of rising at night and sinking by day. This behavior reduces predation risk while allowing access to richer feeding near the surface after dark. It is a slow, steady migration on a massive scale, repeated nightly. The deep, scattering layer reflects this movement so strongly that humans can detect it with sonar, like a living curtain shifting up and down. The idea is calming in its consistency. Even in darkness, even in an ocean that feels endless, life follows patterns, and those patterns are as regular as breathing. Fact 78. Some deep-sea animals live in oxygen minimum zones, where oxygen levels are low. These zones can be challenging for many predators, which may create a refuge for specialists. The vampire squid is one famous resident of such low oxygen habitats. In these areas, animals often have efficient oxygen use and low energy movement. Harsh chemistry becomes protection, not punishment. The deep ocean often offers safety in extremes where only the adapted can live. It creates neighborhoods where danger is reduced simply because the environment filters out most competitors. Fact 79. Some deep-sea predators use lures that mimic prey not only with light, but with motion and shape. A glowing tip may wriggle like a worm, inviting a curious fish to approach. In the dim, small movements can be more convincing than detailed form. When prey is scarce, making prey come to the predator is efficient. It turns hunting into a waiting game. The deep sea rewards strategies that save energy while increasing the odds of success, and deception can be one of the most economical tools available, using a tiny flicker to draw a meal across empty water. Fact 80. The ocean's mid-water zone is sometimes called the largest ecosystem on Earth, yet it remains one of the least explored. Creatures there can be delicate, mobile, and difficult to catch without damage. Many are discovered and understood only through careful camera observation. This means the deep sea still holds unknown behaviors and unrecorded species, not because they are necessarily rare, but because the habitat is vast and hard to study. The midwater feels like an invisible forest, not rooted to the ground, but suspended, where life drifts in layers and vanishes into darkness when approached. Fact 81. Some deep-sea species grow slowly and live long lives. Cold water and scarce food can produce life histories where maturity takes years and reproduction is infrequent. This slow pace means deep ecosystems can be vulnerable to disturbance because recovery takes time. In the deep, time is a biological force. It shapes everything, from coral growth to fish lifespans. A habitat that looks stable may have taken centuries to form. The deep ocean's calm can be deceptive. Underneath is a world built on slow processes, and slow processes do not rebound quickly when disrupted. Fact 82. Deep-sea corals and sponges can create habitat complexity, offering shelter and feeding surfaces in places that might otherwise be soft sediment. A coral garden in darkness becomes a three-dimensional city, a place where small animals can hide and filter feed, where fish can rest, and where larvae may settle. Because these structures grow slowly, they are like archives of time. They record the ocean's steady patience in their skeletons and tissues. In the deep, a single coral colony can be older than many human institutions, quietly holding a community together. Fact 83. Marine snow is not just food, it is also transport. It carries carbon and nutrients from the surface down into the deep, linking ecosystems vertically. When marine snow is abundant, more energy reaches deeper communities. When it is scarce, deep life must stretch resources. In this way, surface events can ripple into deep time. A plankton bloom in sunlight can become a distant feast in darkness weeks later. The deep ocean lives beneath the surface, but it is not separate from it. It is connected by a continuous fall, like an invisible thread stitching two worlds together. Fact 84. Some deep-sea animals are discovered only when technology becomes gentle enough to observe them. Delicate gelatinous creatures can be destroyed by nets. Pressure-sensitive species can be damaged when brought to the surface. Submersibles, remotely operated vehicles, and low-light cameras allow scientists to witness deep life in place, moving naturally. This has revealed a deep ocean that is not only harsh and monstrous, but also delicate and graceful. It is a reminder that the deep sea's mystery was never only about what was hidden. It was also about how humans looked and how softly they learned to watch. Fact 85. Deep-sea ecosystems often depend on microbes in ways that are easy to underestimate. Microbes form the base of chemosynthetic food webs, but they also help break down carcasses, recycle nutrients, and support symbiotic partnerships. In many habitats, microbes are the deep sea's quiet foundation, the unseen workforce that makes energy available. The deep ocean can feel like a place of large, strange animals, but beneath that image is an even stranger truth. The smallest organisms often control the flow of life, shaping what larger bodies can exist and where. Fact 86. Some deep-sea species remain unknown, and new ones continue to be described. The deep ocean is so vast that even extensive exploration samples only small areas. Many organisms are small, hidden in sediment, or live in mid-water layers that are hard to survey. This means the deep sea is still one of Earth's great frontiers, not in a romantic sense, but in a practical one. There are habitats and communities that remain poorly mapped. The ocean holds questions not because it wants to be mysterious, but because it is enormous, dark, and patient enough to keep its secrets. Fact 87. Bioturbation, the mixing of sediment by animals, is common even in deep environments. Worms, sea cucumbers, and small crustaceans stir the seafloor, moving organic matter and changing sediment chemistry. This affects how nutrients cycle and how oxygen penetrates the mud. The deep sea is not static. It is quietly engineered by countless small movements. The seafloor is like a slow breathing surface, turned and reworked over time by animals that never see daylight. Their work is gentle and continuous, and it helps support the invisible life beneath the sediment. Fact 88. Some deep-sea fish have unusual sensory adaptations for finding food, including enhanced smell and vibration sensitivity. In darkness, prey is often detected by movement, chemical trails, or faint sounds. A fish may follow a scent gradient that strengthens with each meter, arriving at a carcass like a traveler following a distant beacon. Others may detect tiny vibrations from struggling prey. This creates a deep ocean world where hunting feels less like chasing and more like interpreting clues. The predator becomes a reader of invisible messages, and the ocean becomes a library of subtle signals. Fact 89. Deep-sea lights are often brief and purposeful. Many animals control their glow, using it sparingly to avoid attracting unwanted attention. A pulse can be a warning, a lure, a mating signal, or a decoy. In some species, the arrangement of light organs is distinctive, like a signature. In others, The timing of flashes matters more than the pattern. The deep sea's communication can be quiet and coded, like conversations made of single words spoken far apart. Darkness forces efficiency. A creature that can say what it needs to say with one flicker may survive longer than one that glows carelessly. Fact 90. Some deep-sea animals resemble older evolutionary designs, but they are not relics frozen in time. They are modern species that fit modern oceans. The deep sea can sometimes preserve certain body plans because the environment changes slowly, but evolution continues. The calm lesson is that ancient looking is not the same as ancient. It means the design still works. In a world where pressure, cold, and darkness remain constant, a body plan that solves those problems can persist for a long time, refined rather than replaced, like a tool that continues to be useful across ages. Fact 91. Deep sea life shows that strange often means well adapted. A transparent head, a glowing lure, a ribbon-like colony, a mouth like a net. These traits look unusual because the environment is unusual. On land, they would be unnecessary. In the deep, they are practical. This perspective changes the feeling of the deep sea. It becomes less like a horror story and more like a workshop of solutions, where evolution designs bodies for conditions that humans rarely experience. The deep ocean's creatures are not strange for the sake of strangeness. They are shaped by necessity. Fact 92. Some deep-sea communities are built around rare events, like carcasses falling or pulses of marine snow. This creates an ecosystem that can shift between long, quiet stretches and sudden activity. A baited camera might show emptiness for hours, then a crowd of scavengers arrives. The deep sea teaches that absence is not always emptiness. It can be waiting. It can be distance. Life may be spread out, and activity may come in waves. In darkness, patience becomes part of the ecosystem's rhythm, like a slow tide of presence and absence. Fact 93. Deep sea exploration has revealed that fragility is a valid survival strategy. Gelatinous bodies, transparent tissues, delicate drifting forms. These can survive because predators and currents behave differently in the deep. A soft body can be buoyant, energy efficient, and hard to detect. Many such animals were missing from human understanding simply because older tools were too rough. When observation became gentler, the deep sea appeared less like a graveyard and more like a gallery, filled with floating, fragile forms that are perfectly suited to their quiet world. Fact 94. The deep sea is connected to the surface not only by falling food, but by long-term climate and ocean circulation. Deep currents move slowly, transporting heat, nutrients, and dissolved gases around the planet. These currents shape deep habitats over long time scales. A deep-sea creature lives within these invisible rivers, and its environment can be influenced by far-away processes at the surface. This gives the deep ocean a layered reality. It feels isolated, yet it is part of a global system, linked by water movement that takes years to complete a circuit. Fact 95. Many deep-sea animals are difficult to keep alive at the surface because pressure changes can damage them. This is one reason the deep remained mysterious for so long. Life down there is tuned to its environment so tightly that removing it can be harmful. The deep sea is not just far away in distance, it is far away in physics. The water pressure, the cold, the chemistry, all create a world that is difficult to reproduce in a lab. This keeps many deep-sea behaviors hidden, witnessed only through careful observation in the animal's natural home. Fact 96. Despite the darkness, deep-sea ecosystems can be diverse, especially where habitats are complex like coral gardens, canyons, seamounts, vents, and seeps. Diversity may not always look like crowded reefs because animals can be spaced out. But many species can coexist by specializing, each one occupying a narrow niche, feeding on different particles, living at different depths, or using different strategies. In the deep, diversity can be subtle, spread across distance and time, like a quiet orchestra where instruments rarely play all at once, yet the full composition is rich. Fact 97. Deep-sea creatures often seem like they belong to dreams because they live in a dreamlike medium, silent, dark, slow, and immense. Many glow softly, and the glow appears and vanishes without warning. Many drift without obvious effort, suspended in black water. Many bodies are transparent or oddly shaped, as if the ocean is sculpting life from mist. This dreamlike quality does not come from fantasy. It comes from physics and adaptation. Darkness changes the meaning of color. Pressure changes the meaning of form. Scarcity changes the meaning of movement. Fact 98. The deep ocean also teaches humility about knowledge. Humans have mapped much of the seafloor's shape, but the living communities on it and within the water above it are still not fully known. New species and behaviors continue to appear as technology improves. This means the deep sea remains a place of open loops, questions that do not close quickly. In a bedtime sense, that can be comforting. The world is still larger than a mind can hold, and it is still full of gentle mysteries that can be wondered at without needing to be solved. Fact 99. Deep-sea life demonstrates resilience, but also sensitivity. Many creatures live slowly, grow slowly, and reproduce slowly. That means they can endure stable, harsh conditions, but they may struggle to recover from sudden change. Their strength is endurance, not quick rebounding. The deep ocean can seem eternal, yet its living structures can be fragile in human time. A coral garden may take centuries to form. A vent field may host unique species found nowhere else. The deep sea's calm beauty is tied to its slow pace, and slow systems need gentleness. Fact 100. Above all, deep-sea creatures show that life can persist in places that once seemed impossible. In darkness, life makes light. In cold, life slows and becomes efficient. Under crushing pressure, life becomes flexible and stable at the cellular level. The ocean's strangest life forms are not just curiosities. They are proof that biology is wide, inventive, and quietly persistent. And as the mind imagines their soft glows drifting through black water, the deep ocean can become a calming place, a vast night where life moves without hurry, and where rest feels natural. And now, the descent can ease to stillness, like a gentle settling at the bottom of a quiet sea. The deep ocean remains far below the surface, full of patient drifters and hidden lanterns, full of slow currents and soft shadows. In that imagined darkness, there is nothing demanding attention, nothing needing to be solved tonight. Only the steady, quiet certainty that life continues in the farthest night, moving slowly, glowing softly, and letting the world feel wide enough for sleep.